So here's the key question. In this time of crisis, why should we even worry about or think about sustainability? Well, I think there are some really good reasons for doing that. And it all is about kind of self-interest around our organizations. It's going to be giving us a competitive advantage. It builds a stronger culture. It's a real business opportunity for us that do, in fact, embrace sustainability. In addition, for our regions, and we'll talk about that today, I think it's a real advantage for regions that embrace sustainability. And frankly, I think it's for our country. If we don't learn from what we're going through today, we're really, what's the old saying, you're bound to repeat it. There is some real serious learning that needs to take place as a result of what's going on in our world today and how that relates to a way in which we need to change. We need to figure out a change. But I'm not convinced that that change should happen at a centralized function. I think that change needs to happen region by region, company by company. And I think we can, I hope to make that case for you today. So the fact is, a couple of thoughts. Businesses and communities are really, truly inextricably linked. A good example of that is this quotation from Green to Gold. Companies cannot survive in societies that fail. Pretty interesting perspective. I think we all believe that, but until we really make that a part of our psyche, we're not going to be able to understand why it's important to think about sustainable things. Another one from Good to Great is, you know, to be a great company, you got to be a good company first. It's important that you really do those things that are good for the society and good for the world. So this idea of sustainability, the new industrial revolution is all about the idea that we have declining resources and increasing consumption. What was the old industrial revolution? We had all kinds of resources and relatively few people. The new industrial revolution, declining resources, increasing people, increasing consumption. And consumption happens, obviously, almost geometrically, because not only is it the arithmetic number of people that are on this earth. When I was born, there were about 2 billion people. There are over 6.5 billion today, and counting. That's an arithmetic increase. That's a pretty dramatic increase arithmetically. But we've had increasing affluence, and with increasing affluence, you're able to buy more things, use more things. And as you have better technology, you're able to make them at lower cost, and you're able to generate more things for less costs, and the consumption just goes up rather geometrically as a result. So kind of the role of sustainability in general, this is kind of the ecological version of sustainability. The role in general is to slow that growth of consumption, which then in turn slows the amount of resource reduction. And eventually we can worry about trying to get restoration. But that's the general overall conceptual model for sustainability when it comes to the ecological side of things. I always like to use oil as the model for this. And you'll notice that this is if you look at the very end of this, right out in this section, you'll see that there are about 83, 84 million barrels per day of oil that are utilized in the world. And they call it oil production. I always get a kick out of that. We're not really producing oil. We're just kind of reducing the inventory at a certain rate. So this is our rate of inventory reduction of oil. But when you look at this compared to the rate of consumption of oil, you can see why we've had a little trouble in the past with oil, and why we were able to fix this problem by, I call it we have a reduction in the price of oil, the reduction in the price of gasoline by putting our economy in the tank. Get it? Groaner, I know. All right. So, but the point is that we have driven the cost of oil down by reducing our consumption through a very poor economy. We're already starting to see the beginnings of that happening again And again, I'll say it here, you heard it here, our biggest concern getting out of this recession in my mind is that we're going to have commodity inflation in this country before other countries feel it, and they're going to be driving our commodity inflation that we won't be driving as much as they will. That's a real severe problem. That's a real concern. That could lead to significant problems for us longer term to keep this in recession longer. So this is not just a theoretical problem. This is a real problem. It is a problem that in terms of oil production, there are people that are talking about physical limits to being able to get much out of the ground. People are talking about Hubbert's peak oil and all of those sorts of things, and I'm sure you've all heard the arguments. The question is, you don't have to run out of oil. All you have to do is run out of oil and be able to have more demand than supply in the oil side, and we've got significant problems. And then if you add to that the idea of where it comes from and where our oil supply is located, this is North America, and this is Middle East, and I think it doesn't take much of a socio-political scientist to figure out that there may be some tensions. We don't have wars over milk. We have wars over oil, and this is something that we need to be concerned about. This is the list of folks that have to show up every day to solve our oil consumption needs in the U.S. This is Canada and Mexico. You notice Mexico is declining. You've probably heard those stories, and then it goes on from there. It's a pretty big list of people that have to show up. If one of them doesn't show up, we have some constraints. We have some problems. So we have not only an environmental question, we have a socio-political question, we have even a carbon question that we need to worry about. I think those are all very compelling reasons. Take any one of them, you put them all together, I think we have a very compelling reason to think about how we can do things more sustainably.